That was a giant. Lovely light. Fella. Hey, welcome back to the channel. Just starting the morning off with a little finesse buzz bait. Just some storms rolled through here. But so far, pretty nice day. Low wind, bluebird skies today. There may be some storms this afternoon, but we're going to cover some water with a buzz bait, frog, some of that kind of stuff. Maybe a shallow running crankbait. We're gonna do that for a little while and see how things pan out, and then we may move out deeper and look at some brush piles and things like that. So give me a thumbs up if you've been appreciating the content, and a subscribe will be greatly appreciated. Let's get after it. I'm gonna do this very long. I just saw these fish and thought, well, I'll try to catch one or two of them. Little fellers. Good fish. Chatterbait. There we go. Nice fish. I don't know that. Nothing wrong with that back here in this little runoff area. Maybe we're gonna have to run some of that. There's fresh water coming in from that rain this morning. It's the second one I had back here. Let's grab my pliers. There we go. Good fish. Fish. All right, decent fish, guys. We've kind of changed up. You know, the sun's starting to get higher in the sky, and we got a few bites on that buzzbait. I missed a giant on that little buzzbait. So we picked up a chatterbait, and we're running the backs of these pockets. We had a bunch of rain this morning, and there's some running coming in. I've already caught several decent fish. I missed a pretty good one back there on this little chatterbait, but that's what we're doing now. We're taking advantage of this fresh run in, and just, you can see behind me this little cut. Just there's a little bit of water trickling in. The cut we fished before had some really stained water in, and I know of several different areas that we're gonna go check, and we're gonna try to be disciplined and run this. Gonna mix it up with a chatterbait, swim jig, and maybe a little crankbait or something, but gotta cover water, you gotta be disciplined because it doesn't last long. Flip a little bit of this just to see. Look at that, first cast of swim jig. Freaking giant, dude. Right in that runoff. It's supposed to be. And that thing just barely went into the water. That's a good one. Just barely went into the water. I didn't turn I turned the handle like one time. It was on there. He hooked that great though. There we go. Nice. Well, runoff's paying off. That's a good solid fish, guys. You know, I couldn't get that chatterbait to go through there. And so I picked up this is a Cumberland Pro Lures Bama swim jig with a little What is that? Oh, it's a little Yama crawl, like a 3.5. I've been playing around with that little trailer. It's like a good little trailer. This is their, you know, bluegill color, but man, look at that. That's awesome. So this pattern is still working. We're gonna continue to run it. And wow, it's awesome. That was a good bite, man. I thought that fish was like 6 pounds or something. It was so heavy, so heavy. Kind of little sneaky stuff I'm talking about. I mean, there's a lot of people out here fishing, and everybody's just fishing the normal stuff. And see this little stream coming in right here? A little bit of runoff in this little area, and that's the kind of areas that we've been targeting. They don't have to be like big pockets or anything, or all the way in the back of a cove. It can just be some main lake bank and just a little bit of runoff. You got fresh oxygenated water. It's a little bit cooler. You got one over here too coming in, just these steeper hillsides. Got grass, you got some reeds and stuff, and we're just running that kind of stuff as long as it, you know, as long as it holds up. Another little one. It's hard to get this jig through that stuff. Chatterbait, I mean, it ain't gonna happen with chatterbait. You get down through there, you maybe get up and get a bite. I do have a crawl rigged up in Texas today. Catfish. That woke me up. It's a good eater. Catfish in the runoff, everything lives in this runoff. Nasty thing. Go. Another toad on the yammer crawl. Can that run off? Oh, come here, buddy. Gotcha. Love when a pattern comes together. I couldn't get a swim jig or a chatterbait through that. It's got all that stuff just floating on the top of the water, and I couldn't get one of those moving baits through there, but I flipped that little 4-inch amacraw in there and I don't know, like a 3/8 ounce tungsten, and popped her around a couple times, and my line just started moving through that grit and slime and dust and must, and man, it's working out. It's working out. We just keep running. Hardest thing to do is not just settle down and keep going down a bank. Got to be disciplined. It's something I'm always working on. Got to be disciplined and keep moving and covering the right kind of water. You know, it's not just time on the water, it's efficient time on the water, productive time on the water, focused time on the water. I'm just preaching to the choir, guys. Just preaching to the choir. I'm just telling you my thoughts right now, and I'm guilty of just moving down the bank and fishing, and we're actually being somewhat disciplined today and covering these little runoffs while we got time, and it's paying off, man. It's paying off. So I'm gonna cut this line because I do have a habit of not retying and breaking off and missing big fish. So we're gonna cut this line and keep on moving on. Let's cut this line, retie, got my little Cuda scissors. These things are awesome. Should have left that weight on there. And we're gonna stay with that crawl because we have been getting some bites on. One of the reasons these run-ins are high percentage areas after a big rain is because every fish, not every fish, but a lot of the fish in this cut, you can kind of look around this cut, they're all kind of drawn to this current, and you've got a lot of fresh particles coming in. It's nutrients, and you've got oxygen. You know, this water is in the high 80s, sometimes it's getting up in the 90s, and all this fresh water, you can see the little bubbles coming in and stuff. This is just fresh oxygenated water. It's a little bit cooler most of the time because, you know, rain's typically cooler. So it just draws fish in whatever cove or cut or bay. It kind of draws a lot of the bait fish in there because they're feeding on the nutrients, and any kind of bugs and worms and stuff they're washed in. And it also draws the predator fish. So just running around and looking for these things is a good option. It doesn't happen all that often either. That's another thing. It's like a new, fresh thing that happens. You know, I don't know how often. Every couple of weeks, you need a really good downpour to make this go on. And we're gonna give this one a shot. It looks right. Yeah. Oh yeah, big boy. Where you going? Where you going? Jig fish, baby. There we go. There we go. Still in the same little cut with his runoff, man. Picked up it's a Cumberland Pro Lures little Procaster. I think it's a 3/8, and man, it just looked like a place I need to be throwing a jig. Just a deeper bank with some rock, and you can see all that sawdust floating around in here. That's just a little bitty tick. I thought it was a bluegill, and it just swam out away from the bank towards me and set the hook, and surprise, surprise, surprise. Ha! Gotta keep running it. Gotta keep running it. There he is. Big fish. Got off. All right. One bite. Nice fish. Fish hammered it. Hammered it. Little chatterbaiter. There's a couple in there too. Ow. Bit me. There we go. Chatterbait in the grill with a little Hawgz Custom swimmer on the back. Like 3 up in there. There's like 3 or 4 up in there. Pretty much spooked them though. There he is. There he is, right where he's supposed to be. Right outside that runoff. Okay. Man, he's getting ready to freaking hammer down. Oh my. That's a freaking giant. Oh, come here, baby. Come here. Come here. Yappity schmappity. Dude, I saw that. Look at that. Oh my. I saw that. That fish was up there like 2 feet of water. They're feeding on bluegill. You just kind of figured it out. We're in these runoff areas, and there's bluegill beds, and I've caught a couple off of the bluegill beds, and that's exactly what was going on with that one. Look at that tail though, man. It's crazy. Late spawner, I don't know, just healing up. But that is a That's a beauty, Clark. That is a beauty, man. Fishing the conditions. What else can I say? Just on a little chatterbait, a little Hawgz Custom Bait swimmer on there, and he actually absolutely moshed that thing. So we're gonna have to get a refill. Dang, that was exciting. All right, let's let this big girl go. That's what you come to the lake for. Look, she was in this right here. She was all in this little cut right here. We got some bluegill spawning, and she just hammered that chatterbait. Get on out of here. She is like a snake in the grass. She went all the way up in there. See that grass still moving? She went all over the bank. Dude, that was fun. That was fun, man. It was fun. Just running the pattern. That's a catfish. Goodbye. Go, nice fish. Let's get ready to rain, guys. Chatterbox, little Zaco. That's been a good one. Good quality fish. A bird. Big bird. Big bird. There we go. All right, folks, it's gonna wrap it up, man. I switched to a little white chatterbait. There's a lot of shad in here, but man, all day long we just covered this little runoff, and it produced something to look for. In the summertime, that fish is fat. Square fish. Anytime you have rain, a good amount of rain in the summertime, and you know, you got that runoff, look for that pattern. Let's pick you up whatever your favorite moving bait is. Depends on what kind of water you got. We got a lot of grass around here, so chatterbait's good. Spinnerbait, swim jig, crankbait. Started out in the morning with that buzz bait, had a few bites and flipped a little bit, but just gotta keep moving around. But this is definitely a strong pattern anytime you got the right conditions. So till next time, man, that was fun.